O Great Spirit, Namaste. O ye powers that be, in all of thy names and all of thy forms, Namaste. Ancestors of our bloodlines and all of our adopted lines, Namaste. Most beloved and precious Ishta-Devata, Namaste. In all of thy names and all of thy forms, most beloved Lord of life, Namaste. Om Shri Babaji Namaha. Om Shri Lahiri Mahasayaji Namaha. Om Shri Yukateshwarji Namaha. Om Shri Paramahansa Yoganandaji Namaha. Om Shri Shaliji Namaha. Om Shri Goswami Kriyanandaji Namaha. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Namaste. Welcome. Welcome to my heart and welcome to our Sunday Sangha. There once was a guru. Every Sunday, the guru went to the temple. And one Sunday out of the month, the guru said, I will take questions from anybody who comes to the temple. And so the guru would take questions. And it was a very special Sunday. Now, in the temple, there was a courtyard. And in the courtyard, there were trees. Very important. This particular Sunday, a man came. Now, he was somebody who had practiced a long time, and he had been at the temple a long time, and he had studied a long time. And he was pretty advanced, or so he thought. And he came up to the guru and he said, Guruji, bowing properly and doing all the proper namaskars. How many lifetimes do I have until I become enlightened? Six, just six. Really? 6 more? I have 6 more lifetimes until I become enlightened? And he stomps off, rather unhappy. Next person comes up. And this person has been giving a lot of money to the temple. Very, very devoted. Lots and lots and lots of money to the temple. Lots of money. And the guru, he says, well, Guruji, how long till I become enlightened? And the guru looks up and he points to a small tree. And it was the fall. So there were maybe, 40 or 50 leaves left on the tree. It was pretty bare. The tree was pretty bare. And the guru says, oh, you see that tree over there? The one that's almost bare. That's you. You just have that many more lifetimes to go. And the fellow started counting and he got very, 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 very upset. I have that many more lifetimes. I've given you money, I've given this temple money, I've done all of the pujas, and you're saying I have that many more lifetimes. The guru says, well, at least you can count them, at least you can count them. And the man walked off very angry. And then comes a fellow, pretty modest, pretty modest fellow. Not particularly intellectual. Hadn't given the temple a lot of money, but gave money, and he helped around the temple, but he wasn't a star, if you will. And he said, "Excuse me, Guruji, could I ask you a question?" "Well, of course you can ask me a question. On this Sunday, anybody can." "How many lifetimes until I become enlightened?" The Guru looks up, and there's a big beech tree in the courtyard. And even though it was full, the beech tree was full of leaves, just full. All the leaves had hung on. And the Guru says, "Well, my son, that many lifetimes as are on that beech tree until you become enlightened." That is wonderful. That is so wonderful. It's only all the leaves on that beech tree until I become enlightened. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And kneeling down, very smart man, he touches the feet of the Guru. And the Kriya currents began to run through the spinal column of the Guru and out his feet, her feet, and through the man. And in that nanosecond, in that moment, he became enlightened. What happened? What happened to the other two? And what happened to the man? We have a human problem. Sometimes we think that if life is saying to us, "No, not now," life is saying no. And this is not true. Just because it's not now does not mean that you cannot have all those things that you wish for in your incarnation, in your life. This life, the next life, whatever it is that you want, you may have it. But the mind will say, like the first disciple, "Well, I worked so hard and now I have 6 more. This isn't for me," and give up and walk away. Or the second person who says, "I've given so much, I've done so much, I paid so much, why am I not going to be enlightened sooner?" And, you could count, you could see it was 30, 40, 50 lifetimes. You could count it. But that soul too gave up. And yet, in that person who was, they say, newer along the path, I don't know that I believe that. I think it was all of the good karmas that the person had with them from before. That they looked at that beech tree and they saw, I can count. I could count the number of leaves on that tree. I could sit under this tree until all those leaves fall, put them in my bags and count them, and that's the number of lifetimes. So I know. And think of all I can do to prepare in the time that I have to prepare. And the simple joy and gratitude flowed through that disciple until that being was welcome, was open to welcome the blessings of life, to say, "Yes, you may, yes, you may, yes, you may, yes, you may have, yes, you may accept, yes, you will accept these blessings of life." And thus, enlightenment came. Now, we're approaching the winter solstice. It is now the 3rd day of December, and the winter solstice is on the 21st day of December. So, had you started counting on the 1st, you would have had 21 days. Now you have 19 days. until the winter solstice. And this is a time to prepare. A time to prepare to turn inward now, to prepare for this great day. It's not a day. It is the 3 days before the winter solstice and the 3 days after the winter solstice. But if you must consolidate your time, make it the 3 days before and then the 21st itself. A sacred time in which the window between this world and the next world is, the veil is thinner. And a time in which we need to stop and say, oh, you know, oh, or oh, what now? What now? What do I need to do now? What do I need to do now to prepare myself for that which is coming? And what would I like to bring into my life? And how do I do that? And what did I think I wanted at the beginning of this year? And has that flowed into my life? You know, you can be walking through life and it can be pretty good. You know, it can be beautiful, beautiful. And you can be having a lot of beautiful, wonderful, joyous experiences. But we're in time, we're living in Kala. And so sometimes what happens is living in this Kala, we say, oh, well, you know, fear begins to rise in the mind. Doubt begins to rise in the mind. Insecurity begins to rise in the mind. And this is not necessary. It is not necessary to allow these things to occur. But we must do something to stop the fluctuations of the emotionality of the mind. You are not your emotions. You are not your personality. You are not the emotions that come and go and rise and fall in your mind. This is not you. You are your soul, which is your memory track. You are spirit, which is immortal. You are immortal. But we get caught up in the fluctuations, the daily, hourly, momentary fluctuations of the mind, and we begin to think that that is what we are. Is these thoughts that rise and fall in the mind, the emotions that rise and fall in the mind, the preferences that we attach to that rise and fall in the mind. You are not that, my beloved. You are not that. And so now say, well, use this time, approaching the new moon on the 12th. Use this time and say, how did I begin the year? How's it been? Have I accomplished what I wanted to do? What did you want to accomplish? Have you been happier? Are you happier now? Are you more content? Are you kinder? Are you gentler? Are you softer of speech than you were before? If not, do something about it. Do something about it. If you are, then the question is, well, that's great. What can I do to improve upon that so that there is improvement in this next year? Everything can become better. You can be wiser. You can be more compassionate. You can be more peace-filled and filled with nonviolence. Everything can be better. The little stumbling block is that sometimes these things happen. Excuse me. Got a problem here. Sometimes as these things happen, we don't see it. You don't see the goodness. You don't see benefits. You don't see the changes that you have made. And you walk through life feeling like, oh, I haven't accomplished anything. Oh, I haven't done this great thing. But your life is not comprised of moments of greatness. Your life is comprised of moments. 90%, 98.99%, I guess my guru would say, of your life is just little moments. It's just the small, small moments. And every once in a while, they'll become a big moment. Problem is, we wait for all those big moments. People wait for their wedding day. They wait for their graduation day from grammar school or high school or grade school or college or, My little niece last year just waiting with anticipation for her graduation from kindergarten to going to first grade. How important that day was. But we all do that. And we forget about all the days that lead up to that. Don't forget that it's how you are living these little moments that make all the difference in your life, that make all the difference in your enlightenment, that will make all the difference in your life. Do not allow yourself to become discouraged. Have courage, have strength to live in your life. Do not allow yourself to become discouraged. Discouragement rises in the mind. The great neti-neti doctrine should prevail. You are not your thoughts. You're not the thought thinking that thought. You are not thought. And so as you begin the great Tarka of the year, the Tarka before the winter solstice, the turning inward to say, now what? Life has not told me no. It has just said, not yet, not now, not yet. Thus, in the waiting, what needs to be done? Now, one very, very useful way of Tarka at this time is to say to yourself, let me look at the 12 divisions of my life and see what's working, where there's no action, where there's a lot of action, or where there's disruption. And, you take a pen and paper, you sit down and you have quiet time set aside. Have an hour that you can say, this is for me. I really encourage you as we go into the solstice, take an hour a day for this. You don't have that, an hour every 2 days. You don't have that once a week. You don't have that, break it up into half-an-hour segments. But you owe yourself. You owe it to your happiness to devote some time to allowing the wisdom that lives within you to flow forth for you, to come forth so you can see that which you need. You really do owe it to yourself. You really are worthy of your own time and your own attention. So you begin by saying, let me look at my personality. Is my personality more harmonious with the world than it was last year, or is it less harmonious than it was last year? And what are the things that need to be refined, if you will? And I urge you, one small but very important tip is listen to your voice. As you are walking through your life, listen to your voice. As you are speaking to people, is there an underlying irritation in your voice? Or is there contentment? Are you rushed? Or are you able to listen to the person? This will give you a good indication as you look at your personality. It will give you a good indication of where your personality is at this moment in time. Now, your personality is the way that you view the world. It is also the way that others will experience you and see you. The second thing you do is you say, what is the wealth in my life? What is the real wealth I've drawn into my life in this year? Now, your wealth is your memory track. So what have you opened from your memory track this year? What have you allowed yourself to see this year? What have you allowed yourself to remember, to experience? And you can say your wealth is your financial wealth, which is only one small segment. Your wealth is your memory. Your wealth is all of the knowledge that you have. Very important. How wealthy do you feel you are at this time? How wealthy do you know you are at this time? The third segment is your everyday mind. Now, I don't know, the everyday mind is, one needs to say, well, on a day-to-day basis, am I generally a pessimistic person? Am I generally a happy person? Am I generally an irritated personality, or an aggressive personality? Or am I friendly? Am I a very friendly personality? Somebody said to me the other day, and somebody I've known for very many years, over 30 years, and I found this very interesting. The person came to me and was saying they were sorry for something. And she said, I'm sorry that I judged you for being so introverted. It's true, I am very introverted. I have a very introverted personality. You would never know it, most of you, but I am. And I said, well, I know you're not an introvert. You're an extrovert. And she said, I know, I'm an extrovert. And all these years, I wanted you as my friend to be an extrovert. And I would get angry at you because you weren't. Now, I thought that was a remarkable piece of insight in her part. Really, that she saw that, and that she hadn't realized it was a subtle undercurrent in the relationship that the two of us had. I've been meditating and reflecting upon that for quite a while, since she said it to me the other day. But looking at your everyday mind, you need to see that. You need to see what it is about yourself that is the dominant. The word I want to use is coloration or sutra or thread that runs through your mind on a daily basis. And then you need to see if it's beneficial. Is your mind a mind that's judgmental on a daily basis? Well, I'm not sure that's very beneficial. Is your mind Pollyanna-ish, where you don't want to see life as it is, but you sugarcoat everything? I'm not sure that's beneficial either. You need to say, what is it? And is it as beneficial for me as it can be at this time? And if the answer is no, then do something about it. Observe the thoughts that rise in the mind. Change your habits. Try to cultivate habits that are more expansive for yourself, that are going to lift your everyday consciousness. From wherever level it is, it needs to be lifted. The next thing you look at is your home life. And this is very important. How sattvic is your home life? How peaceful, how calm, how clean is your home? Is your home and your home life? Is there a lot of arguing and fighting in your home? Or is there peace? Is there harmony? Is there quiet? Is there music? Then you want to look at your creativity. How creative are you? Now, this is vitally important because the same segment of your soul that is associated with creativity is associated with God consciousness. How are you able to use your creativity to attune to God consciousness? Is a question. Improve that area as best as you can. Now, I can hear somebody saying out there, I'm really not very creative. I don't think of myself as the creative type. I'm a scientist. I'm a logician. I'm attuned to logic. Or I'm an engineer. I have a young niece who is an engineer, and she often says to me, I'm not really not creative. I'm really very orderly. I'm really very organized. I'm not, you're the creative type. I'm not creative. And I walked into her kitchen one day, and she had created this absolutely beautiful, functional, organized space. You could tell, you could walk into her kitchen and you didn't know where anything was, and everything was labeled. And it all made sense, and it was so logical. And I said, wow, this is beautiful. And you say you're not creative? Look what you did. Well, that's just the logical way that anybody would do this. The answer is no, it's not. It is a form of creativity. Do not diminish the beauty that you create in your life. Do not diminish that at all. That fifth house is your house of devotion. And with that house of devotion, you need to be able to see that which you are devoted to. Really see that which you are devoted to. I was riding with my beloved mother one day in the car, and she was close to 90 at the time. And she was very devout, a very, very devout woman all of her life. And she followed the Catholic tradition, the Roman Catholic tradition. And somebody had said, she was talking to a friend, and they had said, well, so-and-so thinks, speaking about my mother, that you're a Hail Mary Catholic. And my mother said in this most thoughtful tone of voice, I know she was criticizing me, but I don't know why there was something wrong with my devotion. What is wrong? Why would somebody say it was wrong that I am devoted to Mary? I'm glad she didn't understand. I'm glad she asked the question. What are you devoted to? How are you devoted to your spiritual practice, to your spiritual life? How are you vivifying your spiritual life? What are you doing to bring devotion into your spiritual life? I hope that this Sunday, when you come to these Sundays, that it's not the only time that you're devoting to your spiritual practice. Make it always, always present in your life. And then we have the house of work. And with the house of work is combined the house of health. And this is becoming more and more and more and more vital for each soul to look at. To look at the health of your physical body. To pay attention to the health of your physical body. To say, yes, this is worth taking care of. This is important for me to take care of. And then do so. And then is the house of the segment of the soul related to other people, related to all of the others. The mystics call it the open enemies, but it's just everybody else that's not you. The not self is the best way of looking at it. And ask yourself the question as you go into it, how are those relationships? How do the others view me? How do they see me? This is... Take those words, let those go. That's not the right way. How do they experience me? If you use the word, how do they experience me, instead of how they view me, or what do they think of me, you take all the judgment away. Because what you're trying to do is say, there's nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with me. How do I experience them? How do they experience me? If you were with somebody who is exuberant, very exuberant, and they, hello, how are you? You know, and that's not your way, you may have to say, well, can I open my arms and be exuberant? Can I open my arms and meet them? Or if the opposite is true, you're somebody who comes up and big hug, can you namaste? If you see that that is not the way that they are comfortable. All the way through this reflection, it is about you and I turning inward. What can we do? What changes can we make? Not what they can do, but what we can do. And then you go to the house of wealth that you receive from others. Any wealth that flows into your life from others. Now there's a deep secret here. In the words of my guru, all the wealth of your life flows through others. All of the wealth of your life flows through others. Nothing comes but that it does not come through others. And then we have the higher self, the higher mind, your philosophy. How harmonious are you now with the philosophy of life that you say you're living by? You know, I don't know what your philosophy is, but are you living your life in accordance with that philosophy? If it's Kriya Yoga, the 3 jewels above the head of God. Compassion, wisdom, nonviolence. Compassion, wisdom, nonviolence. How do these rule your life? And then at the very top of the circle, we're in a circle, very top of the circle, we have how we react to authority, to the powers of others in our life. It's not just the other, this is the power. Everyone has some being in life that is higher than they are on the hierarchy of life. It doesn't matter if it's your boss. Your boss has a boss. Your boss has a board of directors. Your boss owns the company. They might have shareholders. They might have the government overseers. Everyone has someone other than them that is higher than they are. What is your relationship with those beings that are higher than you are? And now I'm going to ask you to take a switch and talk about this from the perspective of mystically, we all are a part of life. We all have, within this hierarchy of the life that we're a part of, we're not the highest on the totem pole. Incarnated in these human being bodies, we're not the highest on the totem pole. I don't want to confine others because I don't want to be confined. I want to free others so that I may get the help to free myself from my karmic limitations. Same for you. Do you fight those who have the power to help you, or do you support them? Can you be the servant to come and help? And then we move to what is really a segment that takes a lot of introspection. And this is saying, what are you associating with? What groups are you associating with? Who have you befriended in your life at this time? Who are your friends? But I don't mean just your friends. I mean your associations, the associates. What group of thoughts are you associated with? What group of philosophy are you associated with? What cultures are you associated with? What languages are you locked into? What are you associated with? And has it been, and is it at this time beneficial to you? Is it expansive? Is it helpful to you? Or maybe it was helpful when you were a child, but not so much now. Nothing wrong with those things changing. We need to accept when the time has changed. And harmoniously find the next step on the path. And then the last segment of the soul is the one that I really urge you at this time, as we're moving into the solstice, to look at most carefully. At night, when it's private, or during the day when it's private. And this is self-help and self-undoing. Look at the last year of your life and say, how have I helped myself in ways that are beneficial? And what have I done that's been a problem for me, for my happiness, for my enlightenment? Sometimes these, the habits or the events or the thoughts in this category are either uncomfortable to see or they're difficult to see, and one needs to reflect upon them. So I would say just reflect and be as gentle with yourself as you can. So in summary, what did I say? Life's delays are not life's denials. Always remember that. Always, always, always. Life's delays are not life's denials. What you do not have today, you will have tomorrow. We need to understand as you're walking along the path, you and I need to understand, what do you have to let go of? what has outlived its usefulness. And I will close with the story of the Guru and the disciple. The disciple had studied and studied and studied for years and had asked for a special blessing. And the Guru said, yes, yes, I'll give you the blessing. You need to meet me at sunrise on the 21st of December at the top of the mountain. I'm going to leave early. I'm going now so I can prepare. And the Guru leaves and the disciple says, okay, I've got 19 days. I think I'll have some water. Maybe I should make a list of everything I need to take with me. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Let me make a list of everything that I need to take. Starts to pack, gets packed, gets some food, gets the backpack. So the Guru leaves on the 2nd and the disciple leaves on the 12th, 10 days later. And the disciple is following the path, can see really clearly where the Guru has gone, comes to a river, and the path doesn't see what happens, where, sees the river. And instead of walking a little this way or walking a little that way to see if they could cross, decides that they have to go back and build a raft. So they go back, they build a raft, take a day, 2 days to do that, take the raft, cross the river, drag the raft with all their other stuff that they're schlepping up the hill. Time's a rolling, time's a rolling, time's a rolling. 19th of December, 3/4 of the way up the hill, but oh boy, that raft is heavy. Keep dragging, keep dragging, keep dragging. Oh, it's the 20th, they're so tired. They have to stop before they get to the meeting place. The Guru is at the top of the mountain. Midnight comes. The sun begins to peek over the mountain. No disciple. No disciple. It was very sad, but it is what it is. She was there waiting. The disciple wasn't there. Didn't ask in time. Didn't show up in time. Noon. The Guru heads down the mountain. At sunset, the Guru runs into the disciple. 12 hours later, the Guru runs into the disciple, huffing and puffing, coming up the hill, dragging that raft, dragging the water, dragging the food, dragging the tent, dragging the sleeping bag, dragging the 5 types of clothes to wear for the award ritual. Well, I see you made it part of the way. Surely you'll forgive me. Surely you'll turn around with me and go up the mountain and give me the blessing I've waited for so long for. Would that I could. Why did you carry all this stuff? You could have been here 2 days ago, sat with me, meditated with me, and had the ritual at sunrise. Why did you drag all of this stuff? All of these things, my beloved. Why? Well, I thought I would need them, Guruji. I was afraid I would need all of these things. C'est la vie, said the Guru. C'est la vie. Patting the disciple kindly, said, another day, and walked down the mountain, leaving the disciple distraught, sobbing. Thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. What things are you carrying that no longer serve you? Let us turn inward and meditate. Sitting with your spine erect and your hands on your thighs in the Om Mudra. Turn your head to the left with a double exhalation. Bring the head back to the center and begin to watch the breath. Use the sipping breath and pull the energy from the limbs of the body to the trunk. From the trunk to the spinal column. From the base of the spine to the sun center. Move that energy as a golden ball of light out in front of you. Expand it, sweeping to the left, encase your body in golden light 3 times. Expand that golden light. And now ascend to the high place. Finding yourself in the high place of meditation, the grove of the meditators. In front of you, you see a path ascending up the mountain, Mount Meru, the high place. Begin to walk along the path into the forest. Ascending upward. Ascending to Meru. Ascend. The path opens to a meadow high upon the mountain. Cross through the meadow, seeing the bluebirds and the butterflies, the flowers. Ascend into the high forest. Smelling the pine trees. Climbing Mount Meru. The light radiates in front of you. The path opens. The shrine of healing is in front of you. The shrine of strength. Enter into the shrine. It is perfect for you. The light in the back calls to you. Walk into the pool of light, feeling the old dissolve away. Walking through the pool to the waterfall of light. Stand beneath the waterfall of light, letting all of the old things dissolve away. The light pours down upon your crown center, filling all of the spaces. Ananda, 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 Ananda. Loosening all of the heavy things, all of the confinement, letting go of the karmas. Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. Walk forth from the waterfall of light. Strengthened and vivified. Feel the strength and energy pouring into your body, the pranic energy filling every cell of your being. Walk through the pool of light. out into the sunlight on Mount Meru, and return knowing that you can come to this sacred shrine again to vivify, to strengthen, to heal, to let go, to leave those things. Return to your high place of meditation. You and your Ishta and you. Let us join as a Sangha, sitting around the light of Kriya, each with our Ishta, the flame of Om in the light. O ye powers that be, most beloved infinite Lord of life, join with us as we use the Om Shanti mantra to send forth our blessings. First to Mother Gaia, that the light may pour forth upon her, that she might have all that she needs to nourish, protect, and strengthen the beings who live upon her womb. Om Shanti. 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 Om Shanti. 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 Om Shanti. 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 Om. As we chant, feel the light from your sun center, feel the light from your Ishtadevata radiate forth to send forth these blessings. For all of those beings living in conflict, in war, in opposition with others, may the hardened hearts be softened. May kindness fill the hardened hearts. May the drive for power, may the greed be softened and filled with compassion and kindness. May all that those souls need be given to them, that which is of the highest good prevail. Om Shanti. 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 For all of those souls living with food insecurity and housing insecurity and water insecurity and economic insecurity and health insecurity, may they be blessed with what they need. Om Shanti. 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 Om Shanti. 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 Om Shanti. 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 Om. 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 Be thou blessed. Be thou blessed. Be thou triply blessed. Become an ever greater blessing unto all of those who enter your aura. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Namaskar. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for the blessings of your presence and of your meditative energies as we send these blessings unto all of those in need. Namaste.